Hello, thank you for clicking. I am Javier, and let's get into this video. So now we are going to solve the third part of this GED guide that we are solving so you can practice. And now we are going to solve geometry, okay? We're going to talk about the geometry section of this test. So we are going to solve problems about area and perimeter of two-dimensional shapes. So let's read the problem. So the problem says, and hopefully you can see it here, the Wilson family's backyard is a rectangular plot that has a length of 100 feet and a width of 80 feet. The family planted a garden with a length and width of 60 feet. The family planted a lawn in the remaining area of the backyard as shown. Okay, so, and then we have the area here, okay? So let me see what we got here. So this is the whole area. Let me write the whole area. So then the question is, what is the area in square feet of the lawn in the Wilson's family's backyard? So the whole backyard is a rectangle. So it's all this side. This is the width. And this is the length, right? So if it's a rectangle, because it says it's a rectangular plot, okay? So we need to have one side here that it also measures 1,000 feet, right? And we gotta have the width that is also 80 feet, okay? Now, that's the rectangular plot, okay? And then we draw the length and the width. So now, let's draw the garden. It says the garden has a length and a width of 60 feet. So the garden, let's suppose that the garden, I'm going to draw it in red. So the garden is this one here. It has 60 feet width, 60 feet length, okay? And of course, if it's a square garden, so it's all this area that I'm gonna shade in red, okay? Yep, so I'm gonna shade all this area in red. And so you know, the garden is in red, okay? Okay. And then we have the lawn. The lawn was planted in the remaining area of the backyard. So what is the remaining area? Well, if this is the square, this is the garden, then the remaining area is this green area here that is the lawn, okay? So let me draw it in green so you can see it. And then the lawn, it's in green, okay? So the question is, what is the area in square feet of the lawn? So we need to find the area of the lawn. So now, we see that the whole plot, okay, the whole plot has a total area, okay? So let's write an equation, okay? So we have the total area is equal to 80 by 100 because that's the whole rectangle that we have here, right? So if we subtract the area of the garden to the big rectangle that we have here, then we're going to have the area of the lawn, which is all of this green area that we have here. So I'm going to write this equation. The area of the lawn, okay, is equal to the total area, okay, which is this big rectangle that we have here, minus the garden area, okay? So let me see. So we have the area of the lawn, which is in green, equals to the total area is going to be 80 multiplied by 100 because the area of a rectangle is the width by the length. So I'm going to have 80 by 100, okay? And then, I mean, these are feet minus the area of the garden is going to be 60 by 60 because it's a square. So the area of a square is the width for the length. And in the case of a square, the width and the length are the same. So I'm going to write here 60 by 60. Okay? feet and feet here. Okay, so if I continue solving my equation, I'm going to have that the area of the lawn is equal to 880 by 100 is 8,000 feet square. Okay, and 6 by 6, that's 36, and then I have 1 0 here, 1 0 here, so I'm going to have 2 zeros here, and I'm going to have this number here. Okay, so how much is going to be the area of the lawn? Well, I'm going to clean this a little bit because I need a space, so we know what this is already. Okay, let me clean all of this so we can keep solving the problem. Okay, so now we just have to subtract. So if we subtract 8,000 minus 3,600, so we have 0 0. This cannot be 0, so I need to decompose. So this is going to be 7, this is going to be 10. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4, and then 7 minus 3 equals to 4. So the area of the lawn is 4,400 feet square. Okay, so option A is the right answer. Okay, we continue reviewing for the GED test, and in this case we're going to review the geometry section of the test. We're going to continue to review the geometry section of the test. So now I'm going to start using a calculator simulator that you can use as well to practice for your GED test, and in the description box below I'm going to leave you a link so you can go ahead and go to the website to download the calculator, because by using the calculator when you are studying you will be able to get a higher grade when you take your test, because you won't be surprised and you will know how to use the calculator to help you find the answers for your exam. So now in this exam, let me see, as you can see here, I'm gonna read it here. It says, let me check my pen. Okay, so it says Greg installed a circular drain that has a diameter of 4.8 inches. And you see the drawing here, you have the drain, okay? And the 4.8 inches goes from one extreme of the outline to the other extreme. So the diameter of a circumference is the distance across the circumference, okay? The question says, to the nearest tenth, and then I want to highlight this one here because it says to the nearest tenth, okay? So we need to find the tenth here of an inch. What is the circumference of the drain? And then we have 4 options and we will see which is the right option, okay? But before we start solving the problem, I want you to remember something. When you calculate the circumference or the length of a circle, the circumference can be calculated as 2 pi by r, okay? So C is the circumference, then you have 2 is the number 2, okay, and then pi is equal to 3.1416 blah blah blah, and r is the radius of the circumference. Okay, in this case you don't have the radius, you have the diameter. This value here is the diameter. So you need the radius. So how can you calculate the radius with the diameter? Where the radius is equal to half of the diameter, or the diameter divided by 2. In this case, the radius is going to be equal to 4.8 centimeters divided by 2. So, and then I'm going to use the calculator so you know how to use it. Let me minimize this. So let's use the calculator here. So I'm going to put, I'm going to clear everything that I see. So you press the clear key. So I'm going to divide 4.8 by 2. So I click 4.8 and I divide that by 2. Hopefully you are seeing my pen here. And then I'm going to press enter. And then it's 2.4. So the result, I'm going to minimize here. My radius is 2.4, okay? So now, what are we gonna do now? What we're gonna do now, we are gonna calculate the circumference. We're gonna use the equation for the circumference that we have here. So we know that the radius is 2.4. So let's calculate the circumference. So that's gonna be equal to the circumference. Okay, if we use the formula, so we have the circumference is going to be equal to 2 multiplied by pi by the radius, that is 2.4, right? 2.4. So I'm going to use the calculator to solve that equation. So I have, let me clear this because I don't want to use any existing data. And let me clear this one here. So I have 2 multiply by, and then pi is a number. This is as you see it here, this is the symbolic form, but pi is actually a number. So we are going to look it in the calculator. Let's see where pi is. So you see this key here, it says pi, so we press it by pi by, and then we put 2.4, okay, and then we press enter. And then is the result is the circumference equals to, that was 15.079. So 15.079. But remember that the problem says that it wants you to give the answer to the nearest tenth. So remember, this place value here, these are the tens, these are the ones, these are the tenths, and these are the hundreds. Okay, so basically you are gonna cut the number at the tens position, this one here, but you are not gonna write 15.0 because as you can see you have 7 hundredths here. So remember, when this number, if you are gonna cut between 0 and 7 and the number next to this, to the point where you are going to cut, I mean the number to the right of 0 is greater than 5, then you have to round this number up. So what their circumference is going to be equal to 15.1. If you round 0.7 up, it's going to be 15.1. Therefore the answer is letter B. Okay, so correct option is letter B. Here we are. So the problem says the foundation of a building is in the shape of a rectangle, and then you can see the foundation here, okay, with a length of 20 meters, so this is the length, and a width of 18 meters, this is the width. The question is, to the nearest meter, what is the distance from the top left corner of the foundation to the bottom right corner? So this is a word problem, and I have told you before, like when you are solving a word problem, you need to answer two questions. The first question that you are going to answer is, what is the problem asking you to solve? Okay, so let's read the problem. When we read it, we see that the problem is asking me the distance from the top left corner, which is this one here, of the foundation to the bottom right. So the bottom right corner is this one here. So the distance that the problem is asking me to find is this line that I'm drawing here. And let me draw that line straighter. So this line that you have between these 2 points, okay? So this is the distance. This is what I need to find in the problem. So distance. I'm going to find distance, which I'm going to write with the letter D. Okay. So how can I find that distance? Well, this is something else that we need to talk about. So now, you have a rectangle. A rectangle has 4 squares, so these two are the same. So this side is 20 meters long. And these two sides, this one here and this one here, are the same, so this side is 18 meters long. In a rectangle, all of the inner angles are 90 degrees, so you have 90 degrees, you have 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and 90 degrees here, okay? When you have a triangle, because this side and this side and this side together, they form a triangle, and then one of the angles is 90 degrees as it is this one here, 90 degrees. Then you have a triangle in which you can use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate the sides, but you know that this size is 18, you know that this size is 20, so you need to calculate d. So how can you calculate d? Well, d is the hypotenuse of the triangle, as you can see here, and you know that the hypotenuse of the triangle square is equal to the sum, okay, so the sum of the sides squared. So I have 18 square plus 20 square, okay, and the distance is in meters, so you have 18 meters squared, 20 meters squared, okay. So the hypotenuse square is going to be equal to, and I'm going to use the calculator to solve this problem. So I clean what I was using before, and then I'm going to write 18 square. So I'm going to press this key here, right? So I'm going to press this one here, plus, and the other side is 20, and then I'm going to press square. So make sure, like I see, after I put the square here, after I put the square here, I made sure I press this key so the cursor moves, so I know that I'm not squaring the 20, and I'm not writing the 20 as an exponent of the 18, but I'm just squaring 18 and then I'm adding the 20. So I'm going to press enter, and that's 724. So let's see. So this is equal to, so I'm going to write here 724. 724. But I don't want the h square. I don't want the h square. I want just the h, okay? So because I want the h, I need to eliminate this square that you have here. This square that you have here. I need to eliminate this square by extracting the square root. So because the square root is the inverse operation of the square. So I'm going to write here square root of h squared. And then if I do it on one side, I need to do it on the other side too. Is equal to square root of 724. Okay. So now a square root cancels out with the square, and okay, so now if they cancel each other out, so I'm going to have h, and I'm going to have on the right side the square root of 724. So I'm going to use my calculator to solve that. So I'm going to calculate the square root. So see, the square root, you can see it is in green here, so you need to press the second. So when you press this key, because you are pressing the green key, then it's going to calculate the green function, which is the square root. So I'm going to press second, and then this key, right? And then I'm going to put 724. Okay, 724. And then I'm going to press enter, and then it gives me this result here. But I don't need 2 square root of 181. I need the number, because as you can see in my options, I just have numbers. So I'm going to press this key here to convert those numbers in real numbers that I know that can be measured in meters. So let me press here, and the value is 26.90. So that's the result that I'm going to register in my solution. So that's 26.90 meters. 90 meters. So now I don't want a 26.90 because the problem is asking me to find to the nearest meter, so I need to round this. Again, I'm gonna round. Let me deactivate this one here. Okay, so I have just one to unactivated. So okay, so I'm gonna round this number to the nearest meter, so I'm gonna cut my number here. Okay, so see, this number here is greater than 5, so that means that I need to round the ones up. So my h, which is my hypotenuse, which is equal to my d, because we said that the hypotenuse was the d, is equal to 27 meters, okay? And 27 meters is the right option. Option B is the correct answer, okay? Okay, we keep moving on, and in this opportunity we are going to calculate the volume of a sphere, because the problem says like this. It says a sphere has a radius of 7.5 centimeters, and then you have the sphere here and you can see the radius here. To the nearest cubic centimeter, what is the volume of the sphere? Well, so there we go. So we need to calculate the volume of the sphere because we don't know how much it is, and that's what the problem is asking us to find. You will have these formulas available on your test, but I want to remind you that the volume of a sphere is equal to, let me just write this better so you can understand me better. So volume of a sphere is equal to 4/3 multiplied by pi and multiplied by the radius to the power of 3. Okay, now do we have all of the information we need? Yes, we can calculate the volume because we know pi is a number that is 3.14. That's pi. Okay, that's pi right there. And then the radius, we have it. So volume is going to be equal to 4/3 multiplied by pi, that we know what it is, multiplied by 7.5 to the power of 3. And that's going to give us the volume in cubic centimeters because my radius is in centimeters. So now let's solve that using the calculator here. So we are going to clear all of this that we have here. And here we go. So we are going to put the information in the calculator. So open a parenthesis and then write 4/3, close the parenthesis, and multiply it by pi, which is this key here, pi, multiplied by, and then you want only 7.5 raised to the power of 3. So open a parenthesis and write 7.5. Okay. You can also move here and then open another parenthesis here. Okay, before the 7 you can put a parenthesis there, and then you can put 7.5, right? To close the parenthesis, then you raise to the power of 3, so the calculator understands that only 7.5 will be raised to the power of 3. So you hit this key here, and then when it goes down, you close the parenthesis, okay? And only 7.3 is being raised to the power of 3. So you press enter, so it gives you the answer. And then the answer is, let me see how much was it. It is 1767.14. 1767.14. But now this is cubic centimeters, but the problem wants you to give the answer to the nearest cubic centimeter, so you have to round this number. Because it is cubic centimeter, it doesn't want tenths of cubic centimeters. It wants cubic centimeters, so you need to cut the number right here, okay? This 4.14 is less than 5. I mean, you have one here, one is less than 5. So the volume is going to be equal to 1767 cube centimeters. Okay, so now you don't have any 17.67 in the answer, so which is, I mean, the right option is option C. You got 67 and the answer says 66, but don't worry about it. You got 67 because the calculator, as you are not rounding pi and you are not rounding anything, is giving you the whole decimals. Okay, so you just in this case, because you don't get the exact answer, you pick the answer that makes more sense, which is 1766 cube centimeters. Okay, moving on. Okay, so let's solve the next problem. It says the line graph shows the monthly payroll at a large construction company, and then you have a graph here in which on the horizontal axis you have the months, and on the vertical axis you have the payroll in thousands. So this number is not 10, it's 10,000, this is 20,000, and so on until you get to 100,000. Okay, the question is, in which month did the monthly payroll decrease the most? Okay, before we answer that question, I'm going to highlight the months in which the payroll decrease. So now, if the line goes down, that means that the line has a negative slope. This shows a period of decrease. This part, this is an increase, so I'm not going to highlight it. This is a decrease as well. This is another decrease, and this is another decrease. So now, I know where the function is decreasing and where it's increasing, so I'm gonna cross out automatically this month here, which is between February and March, and I'm gonna cross out this month here, which is between April and May, and I'm gonna be left with the months in which the payroll decreases. But now I'm gonna cross out as well this period of decrease and this period of decrease, because I can see that the biggest periods of decrease are these two. Okay, because the slope of the line is steeper here, it goes down faster. So now I'm gonna calculate for which month is bigger, for January and February or May and June. Let's see. So let's calculate January and February. So the first point that we have here, if we go to the vertical axis, that value is about 62,000. I'm not going to write 1,000 to make it easier for me. And this value here is about maybe 43,000. So yeah, if I subtract the height of this point minus the height of this point, it's going to give me the change, the difference between the 2 points. So I said it was 43,000. So let's subtract 43. And that's gonna give me a number. So this is January and February. Okay, let's use our calculator. So we practice. So we have 62 minus 43, and that's equal to 19. So this decrease is equal to 19. So now I know this is 19. Now let's see how much is this one here. So that this is between May and June. Okay, so this point here, if I go to the vertical axis, is about 78 minus this point here. If I go to the vertical axis, is about 55. And let's see how much is that. So 70. Okay, so 78 minus 55, and that's equal to 23. Okay, so this is equal to 23. So this line went down 23. So I'm going to write it here. This is 23. 23. So now which one is bigger? Of course, between May and June, the decrease is the biggest, right? So May and June, so that's why option C is correct, because this decrease is steeper than this one here. So option C is the right answer for this problem. Let's move on to the next problem. Okay, these problems are more about statistics than geometry. So let's read this one. It says, the manager of an apartment complex ordered the air conditioners in the apartments to be replaced. The list shows how many years each air conditioner had been in service. So we have how many air conditioners? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 air conditioners. One has been in service for 12.2 years, the other one for 13.7, and so on and so forth. The question says, what is the median number of years that an air conditioner had been in service? I want you to pay attention to the question, because the problem, what is the problem asking you to find? It's asking you about the median, okay? And many people confuse the median with the mean. The mean is the average. So to calculate the average, you add all of these 10 numbers together and you divide them by 10 because you have 10 numbers. But that's not what we are going to do. What we are going to do here, okay, what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the median. And I'm going to show you how to calculate the median in two ways. Manually and the calculator. You want to do it with a calculator because these kind of problems, they take time. So if you solve this problem manually on your test, you will have less time available to solve the rest of the problems, and that's something you don't want to do. But for teaching purposes, I'm going to show you how to calculate the median manually. So now the median in a set of data like the one we have here, the median is the value that divides the set of data in two groups, meaning that if I have 10 numbers here, the median is the value that is in the half of the numbers, okay? And I'm going to show you what that exactly means. So I'm going to calculate the median, and the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to organize my set of data from the least number to the greatest one. So let's start by the least number that I can see. I can see that 11.8 is the least number. So I'm going to put it here, 11.8. That's my first number. Then next is 11.1. And see, I'm crossing them out so I don't repeat them because that changes the value of the median. So I have again 11.1. Then I have 12.2 is the next one. I don't have any more 11s. No, I have 12.2. And after that, I have 12.3. And I cross it out. Yeah, I did already. Then after that, I have 12.9. 12.9, yes. 12.9. Okay. And did I cross it out? Let me see. I did. Okay. So now I have 13. And I'm going to start by this one. 13.3. The next one is 13.4. The next one is going to be 13.6. And finally, I'm going to have 13.7. 13 point, oops, I cannot write a point, but that's 13.7 right there. Okay, so hopefully you understand that this is 13.7. Now, how many numbers I have? I have 10, so I should have 10 here. Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, looks okay. Now, what is the median? If I have 5 numbers, if I have 10 numbers, I need to divide this set in two sets with the same amount of numbers. Since I have 10 and I need to divide by 2, I cannot divide 10 by 2. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna group these two numbers in the middle. Why? Because these two numbers, if I group them, they leave 4 numbers at the top, 4 numbers at the bottom. And that's what the median is. The median is the number that divides the set in 2, okay? Now, the median, because I have 2 numbers here, I need to calculate the average. So my median for this set is going to be 12.3 plus 12.9, and I have to divide that by 2. If I have had 9 numbers in this set, if I have had 9 numbers in this set, if I have had this 11.8, 11.9, 11.9, 12.2, let's suppose that I had only 12.3, and then I had 13.3, 13.4, and 13.6, and 13.7. I have 9 points there. So the median would be automatically this one here, because this divides the group in 4 numbers less than this one and 4 numbers greater than this one. So I didn't have to average them. But that's not the case, because we have an even number of numbers. So we need to divide to get the average and the median. So when you divide those two numbers, the result is, let's do it here. So we have 12.3 plus 12.9. Okay, we add them together. That's 25. So we divide that by 2, and it gives us 12.6. Okay, 12.6. So my median is option C. Okay, median. Okay, now we are gonna solve it using the calculator. So pay attention to this, because this is what you really want to do. You don't want to go through all of this manually. You want to do it using the calculator. It's way faster and easier to solve. Okay, so that's why I'm gonna show you here how you do it. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. So we are going to solve the problem now using the calculator. So for that, we are going to use the data function. Okay, I'm going to clean this because I need this to be clean before we solve the problem. Okay, so here we have it. Okay, we're going to use the calculator like I said. So I'm going to press the data key, and see, I have some numbers there. So possibly, if you have solved some problems and you have used the data function in your calculator, this is what's going to happen to you. You want to clean those numbers because you don't want to make a mistake of putting a number that you're not supposed to put in the calculator. So press second and press 0, and then it's going to ask you if you want to reset the data. So you can say yes, which is option 2, and then it cleans the memory. Once that the memory is clean, you press that again, and you're going to start writing your numbers. In this case, because you're using a calculator, you don't need to organize the numbers. The calculator will do it for you. That's why it is convenient to solve these problems about median, mean, mode, frequency using the calculator. So let's put the first number, which is 12.2, and let's press enter. So we put this number here. Okay, so we put this number here, so we cross it out. Next number is 13.7. We press enter, we cross it out. Next number is 11.9, and I'm crossing them out so I remember which numbers I put so I don't repeat them, because that changes the value of my calculations. So I press enter, cross it out. Then 13.4. Enter. Okay, I press enter. Okay, there we have it. Then I cross it out. Next one is 11.9. I press enter, cross it out. 12.3 is the next number. Enter and cross it out. Then keep doing it with 12.9. Press enter. There we go. And then we got 11.8. Let's press enter and cross it out. Then we keep putting the numbers. We have 13.3. Enter, and we are going to put the 10th number. So you see, the calculator shows you that you're about to put the 10th number, and you have 10 numbers here, so you know that you have put the right amount of numbers. 13.6, and then press enter. So I want to check that all of my numbers are okay. So 13.6 is the last one, then 13.3 is the next one. But I'm not going to do that here because I don't want to confuse you. But make sure that before you do any calculations, you have the right numbers in your calculator. Okay, I'm not going to do it now here. Well, let me do it. Let's do it. So first number is 12.2. Let's look for 12.2. I just saw it. 12.2. Okay, here we go. 12.2 is the first number that we have here. Then next is 13.7. We have it. 11.9, we have it. Then we have 13.4, then we have 11.9, then we have 12.3, then we have 12.9, then we have 11.8, then we have 13.3, then we have 13.6. So everything looks fine. So now we are gonna, because we are gonna calculate a median, we are gonna press second, and we are gonna calculate, we're gonna press stat, okay? So because we put the set in number 1, remember that the calculator showed L1, so that means that that's the first set of numbers. We are gonna press 1, okay? And we are gonna scroll down using this key, and we are gonna press calc, so we are gonna press enter. And then see, it gives you all of the calculations with that set of data. So it tells you that it has 10 numbers, that the median, this is the average, okay? It's 12.7. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for the median. So let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. And it gives you the median. Is this one here, the MED median, which is 12.6. And that's why you know that option C is the right option, because we did it with 2 methods and we got the same median, okay? And that's how you have to solve it. Use the calculator, because this is going to be much faster for you to use during your test. In the description link below, as I said to you, I'm going to give you the link where you can download this calculator, a free trial version. You can use it to practice for your test. If this video has been helpful for you, please share, subscribe, and like, so that helps me with the community and more people know that we are preparing ourselves to take the GED test using the material from the website that is going to help everybody get a good score. Thank you for watching, and we are not done yet. We still need to keep practicing some more, okay?